guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be doing a review slash comparison of the two Urban Decay foundations that recently came out. If my voice sounds really groggy, I just woke up literally 15 minutes ago, so don't mind that. And also don't mind my hair, I'm about to do a hair video. So anyways, I just have the two foundations here. I have the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, the Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Makeup, and this is in the shade 9.75. You guys have seen me use this on my channel. You guys know I love this stuff, and I was looking to get in a darker shade. Unfortunately, when I went and got the All Nighter foundation, this is the Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Longwear Liquid Foundation. It's full coverage, matte finish, and oil free, which is awesome for oily skin women, and this is in the shade 10. So unfortunately when I went to buy this foundation and I used it, it was so yellow. It has such a yellow undertone that it didn't look good on my skin. So I decided for this video, as opposed to doing one full video dedicated to this foundation, that I was going to add this foundation. And just to let you guys know, if you were kind of on the fence of both of these and you didn't know which one you wanted to go ahead and buy, I could kind of help you out. I'm going to do a half face of one and one so you guys can see the difference in the coverage and color and everything like that. So let's see. Good as they're both 30 milliliters and 1 fluid ounce, so that's the same, but the packaging is just a little bit shorter. So yeah, so I'm gonna start off by just priming my skin, just because I'm applying some foundation to my skin and I want to prime my skin nonetheless. I'm going to use the Tarte Clean Slate Poreless Primer, and I'm going to use the same primer all over my skin because I don't want it to be like a difference of a primer underneath of it. Okay, so the first foundation I'm going to go in it with is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation in the shade 9.75. Now this is very liquidy, so they do recommend that you shake it up if you can hear it. Then it has one of those balls, if you were to use a spray paint, kind of has one of those in there to kind of help shake up the liquid and blend it all back together, because mine has been sitting for a while because, like I said, I'm getting darker. So I'm just going to pump some pumps on the back of my hand, and it's very liquidy. You can see it kind of draining down my hand. I'm going to use a beauty blender. I'm going to use this beauty blender for both sides of the foundation, and I am going to just start placing this on my skin. This foundation is supposed to be a little bit more lightweight, not as full coverage. But if you guys watch my channel, you know that I love anything that's full coverage. And I also recommend a beauty blender with this foundation, just because this foundation is so liquidy. And if you were to use a brush, the brush strokes would show up in your foundation. You would have streaky foundation, and that's not cute at all. So you just want to make sure you use a beauty blender. If you don't have a beauty blender, Real Techniques has a Miracle Complexion Sponge. It's like $7 at Ulta. They even sell them at Walmart and Walgreens now. So yeah, there's a sponge that you can use and buy. Just make sure you use it damp and not dry, because when sponges first came out, I made the mistake of always using them dry, and then that's why I never loved them until I realized that I had to use them wet, and then now I don't put them down. Okay, so this is how it looks. It's not bad or anything, and actually the color looks really nice today. I don't know what goes on with my fucking skin. Sometimes my foundation looks nice, and sometimes it doesn't. So, what's this white shit? So, that's how this one looks. It's very lightweight, very natural looking. It doesn't look too much different than my skin, and which is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, your naked skin. So, I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to start on the other side, and then I'll show you guys the comparison. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Longwear Liquid Foundation, and I'm just going to pump this onto the back of my hand. And this is still pretty liquidy. It's not as liquidy, but it's going. I'm going to use the same beauty blender. This is in the shade 10, so I want you guys to note the shade difference. So I went up a shade, and you can't really tell on the freaking camera, but it's so much more yellow base as opposed to golden base, like the 9.75 is. And I made the mistake of thinking that just because I was buying a shade darker, only by 0.25, that it would be darker, but it's not darker, and I'm showing you guys that right now. So as I'm pounding this into my skin, this is extremely full coverage. I don't nearly need as many pumps of this as I do for my Naked Skin foundation, because a little bit goes a long way. And majority of the time I over pump, but that's because I like a really, really, really defined, strong foundation base, like borderline cake base. So once again, this is in the shade 10 of the All Nighter, and this is in the shade 9.75. Now, as I mentioned on my Snapchat, that I wore this foundation. I wore the All Nighter foundation, and I had to really, really, really bronze up my skin, meaning like I really overdid it with the contour, because if I didn't, it was gonna look really like orange. Like, I don't know, it just looks really like yellow orange. Like I look like a Oompa Loompa. So I really, really piled on the bronzer, I piled on concealer, just kind of balance out my face, and it looked good. And I wanted to mention to you guys that I wore this foundation for 5 hours, and my nose is the first thing that goes. So like my nose is the first thing that gets oily, and then like right here over my eyebrows and my forehead gets oily. And I didn't use a mattifying primer because I wanted to see how it wore. It was the first time I ever wore it. It was bomb, you guys. If you can find this foundation and you're very, very oily, if you can find it in your right skin tone and undertone, because it obviously isn't a good undertone for me, if you can find this foundation in a good undertone and you're oily, this is going to be like your go-to foundation, like your holy grail, and I wish it would be. And I might just have to go and exchange this for shade 9.75 again, because that's the shade and it's looking good today. So I might just have to go, you know, 0.25 down, but this foundation lasted forever and it did not wear on my nose. And I was just like, I came in the house and I'm like, okay, let me go to the bathroom, and after I got done with the restroom, I just kind of like, you know, I pat my nose to see if like anything was to come off. Nothing came off, and I was like, oh my god, yes, yes. That's pretty much that. So that is, I'm going to turn off my lights so you guys can see it just with my natural lighting, so you guys can see the difference, like as I'm seeing the difference. So give me 1 second. Okay, it may seem very dark, which it looks very dark to me now, but you can see shade 10 and shade 9.75. 9.75 blends in a lot better with my skin tone, and it looks a lot better in my skin tone. And shade 10 doesn't really. Shade 10, it reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation, whereas I'm in the shade Deep 7.4 because it's the darkest that they have, and it has a really strong orange yellow undertone, which I don't really mind, but I don't like that for all of my foundations, especially when they're full coverage, mattifying, and long wearing. I want them to be my exact same skin tone, because it's everything I look for in a foundation. So I just want to show you guys the difference. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and helpful, because that is what I look for and I try to do on my channel. Leave me any comments and questions that you have down below. If you have this foundation, what shade you have in this foundation, what you recommend, you know, this, that, and the third, because I really do love this foundation, but I think I'm going to have to go back down to 9.75. It is awesome. It is long wearing. It lasts all day. Now, waterproof, I don't really know, because I don't wear foundation in water. Like, that's just nothing that I like to do. But other than that, it was all good to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My grandma told me I got a package, so I gotta go check that. I love y'all, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.